So as you were rocking and rolling and this thing was coming out for the first cohort and the second cohort, what was your response to things once you started to see people starting to talk about it within either the discussions or the community platform or from tagging on LinkedIn and stuff? Like how did you handle that? Because it really blew up overnight, to me at least. But yeah,
yeah. I to be honest, I'm still blown away by the response. It really is way more positive, and the feedback has been just absolutely mind blowing. And I've really enjoyed building all of these awesome relationships with people like you and with participants. And when I see the same people coming back over and over and over again for different Eduflow Academy courses and experiences, and webinars or roundtable discussions or self-paced courses. Like, we've got people who have probably done every single thing, a course that we have out there, and that is just incredible to see this. These people who in the beginning I didn't really know, and now I feel like I know them really well, even though we've probably had like one or two interactions. But I can see all their posts in the discussions, and I've learned so much from how they do things, and their backgrounds, and just how they learn and how they do it so enthusiastically. It is just incredible. Going back to your question about how do I respond, I have no idea. I've just been. Sometimes it's overwhelming. All of the different notifications and posts and tags and stuff, and I have to sometimes just put aside like an hour to try to respond to all of these really, really amazing posts, and it just really makes me happy. It's been really cool.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's been crazy. I know, same thing too, but I've seen folks go and take like my course on working with SMEs and then go jump into the IDPCC, and then other times vice versa, where they're like, hey, that fundamentals program is cool. Now I want to learn more about subject matter experts. I'm like, okay, great. So yeah, 100%. I see those same different types of folks coming in again and again. Now, one of the things that caught me by surprise 100% when we started this is that, I'm reviewing the curriculum, you and I are talking about things, and I was like, okay, this seems like it's going to be for newbies. And then I remember the first webinar that I did, and I'm seeing people, and I always ask the question when I start like a workshop, is I ask usually like, how long have you been an instructional designer? Because I want to be able to get a feel for the audience and know if I need to be able to twist or pivot or do something else like along those lines. And for a lot of folks, they were aspiring instructional designers, they're teachers, they just started out as an entry-level instructional designer. But then I would see in the chat that someone would be like, oh yeah, I've been an instructional designer for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. I was like, then why are you here? It's like, this is interesting. Like, this is kind of for newbies, but I learned over time, and especially with talking with you, about how for a lot of people, they want a refresher, they want a new perspective, they have a bunch of different things. But when you saw veterans going into your course, what was your reaction like for that? Because it's made for one folks, but it can serve for all. So what was your reaction with seeing all these experienced IDs taking your course?
I see. I was also, and I'm still baffled. I have a bunch of theories, and I think these people are like the epitome of lifelong learners. True lifelong learners. Like, it's easy to claim that you're a lifelong learner, but if you come across someone who is like, a maven lifelong learner, it's these people who have 25 years of experience, and you think that you can't teach them anything, and then they come into a course and they seem to be the people who are learning the most, even though they have this amazing background. And I think that mindset that they have is something we can really learn from. This assuming this identity of someone, like when you enter a learning experience, assuming this identity of someone who potentially doesn't know anything. And I've got, going back to like maybe why they're doing this. Some of my theories are, instructional design to some extent is a pretty lonely profession. Luke, you and I have like a rare privilege in the fact that we get to interact with instructional designers all the time because of what we do. You work on a team of MIT instructional designers. and I've through instructional design principles course and through Eduflow, I get to interact with a lot of instructional designers. So it's very easy for us to just find someone to talk about some super obscure thing like evaluating discussions, for example, which is something we spoke about earlier. And then, but I think the advantages that we have might not be shared by these, super lifelong learning veterans. And it might be difficult for a solo instructional designer in a corporate organization where there might be an L&D team, but there's one instructional designer on the L&D team. So I think to some extent maybe you need that community of practice. You need those people around you so you can constantly learn. I think to some extent it's maybe altruistic. So there's in game designers have they talk about the Bartle player types. So you have in a gaming experience, you have different gamers who play games for different reasons. So you have like an achiever, for example, and an achiever wants to play the game to complete everything, or to win. Let's say like they want to be the top of the leaderboard or whatever. Then I can't remember all the profiles, but you get like a completionist, and a completionist wants to complete every single side quest they want to do, do it 100%. But then you also get killers who are trolls, so they're there to disrupt, and they are the people who make everyone else's learning experience, or not learning experience, a gaming experience, quite terrible. But then you also get the social people who are there to help others. They get joy out of helping other people play the game, and I think that type of learner is to some extent this type of learner. They've got a lot of experience and they've got a lot of wisdom, and they have a lot to share, and they are willing to take some time out to help others, and in helping others they might get some joy out of that as well. So I think those people would be incredible mentors, and the insights that they can share are just absolutely amazing, and I've learned so much just from reading what they've shared or hearing their perspectives. And then the other reason that I can think of is the meta reason. So people are participating in the course to learn about how the course is put together. And I've read this in the feedback a lot, where people are like, they say that this is a really nice example of something that I want to do in my organization. So maybe someone wants to put together a cohort-based course for their onboarding team or whatever, and they're looking at this and they're taking notes on how it's put together and stuff like that. So maybe that's like, those are some of my theories, and like if any of your listeners have, or viewers now, I guess, since we're on YouTube.
I have no idea anymore. Yeah, just doing everything.
If anyone has any theories, or if you can point me to some research about this, I would really love to hear about it.
Yeah, but it's pretty darn good theory that you just pitched right there. I completely understood everything that you just said. I'm also a gamer, so maybe that resonates more with me, but I completely get what you said. That makes a lot of sense. I also love too, because some people reached out to me when they heard about doing some of the workshops and seeing some like big time names in instructional design were joining the program. And I had one friend reach out to me, and she was just like, "Aren't you nervous that you're going to be presenting in front of so-and-so?" And I was just like, "No, because this is my way. This is how I literally do things for a living." But what I found to be so helpful is that I don't have to answer the questions in the chat, because they respond faster than I can, because I'm presenting. And I just go down, and I was just like, "Oh, yep, he's got that. Oh, yep, she's answering that. Okay, great. Let's keep on going."
And to some extent, like I see these questions come up often, and I think about how I would answer it, and then I see someone who answered it way better than I could ever have done, and then I learn even from how they answer that question, which is really, really cool. I think there's so much value in tapping into the resource of the cohort. The people who are in the cohort are the the reason why it's so good. The learning material and sometimes cohort-based courses are just a bunch of webinars together. But I think the people who are in there are the most valuable part. The learning material is secondary. It's the community that is the most valuable thing. And I think in terms of design, it's really, really helpful to think about how we can maximize that resource, which is the cohort.